This is Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search from my site. I'm reading from a legal document filed Superior Court Family Division, New Jersey, Camden County. Filed December 3rd. December 3rd is the final judgment for divorce. This is the end of my first marriage, the legal end of my first marriage. And now it's a decade and a half later, and I'm reading some of the parts of this. And my inspiration to do this now, it is certainly suspicious that I'm a middle-aged man who just can't get over a divorce a decade and a half ago. There is good evidence that that's not true. And on this occasion, it's really inspired by other matters I'll comment at the end. Final judgment of divorce, entitled 3rd day of December 2003. This matter has been heard by the Honorable Louis R. Maloney in the presence of Dana Rackinick, Esquire, of Rackinick and Mezzi, LLC, attorney for the plaintiff, and complaint of the plaintiff in the court, having heard and considered the complaints and proofs, and it has appeared that the plaintiff and the defendant were married to each other, and the plaintiff having pleaded and proved cause of action for divorce under the statute. And that's where I'll stop reading. The plaintiff is my ex-wife, Angela M. Doody. I am the defendant, Thomas B. Doody. This is a public document record, docket number FM 0459704. Just some unscripted comments at the end. This fits very nicely into this kind of description of a rift I've had with family, and family is more precisely my sisters. It kind of includes my brother, but only not with any sense of bitterness. There was some sense of bitterness with my sisters, but it certainly transferred to my brother's wife and certainly my ex-wife. And in that, I felt like I simultaneously got 4 ex-wives with one stamp of this document. So it wasn't just my kids that seemed to want distance. It was 3 then, one has died. But they were 3 of 13 grandchildren from my parents, and all of them simultaneously seemed to want nothing to do with Dad, nothing to do with Uncle Tommy or Uncle Tom, depending on which mother they belonged to, or father, and I was Uncle Tom or Uncle Tommy, depending on whose kids they were. So this was the beginning of this rift, which I claim in my blog, and the recent phone conversation with my mother is another milestone in kind of bringing things back together. So here it is, a decade and a half later, and this was the beginning. It certainly accelerated this rift when, during the recovery period following the death of my firstborn son, David. That was in 2007. So this is 2003, 2007. Bam, that gap that was there widened. Emotionally, mentally, I look back and see that as the bigger contributor to this enduring rift I've had with family. And then in my blog is the date, though I don't remember it, is this secret family reunion. My sisters, I consider perpetrators, orchestrated a secret family reunion, excluded me, and they were successful. I really didn't know about it. Even in modern social media, with me being Facebook friends with many of these people, I knew nothing about it. So it was, of course, a summer family reunion in the hometown of my mother, and I didn't know about it until a call from my cousin on Easter the next day. And on that day, I recorded a video. So basically, these events of the end of my first marriage, the death of my son, this secret reunion, and the phone call with my mother that I think was the beginning, the peak, the beginning, the accelerator, the peak, and maybe the end. The one that was missing, I didn't have a video to put. So that's the inspiration of this video. And looking forward, if another half decade passes, even better. I'm fortunate enough to be given long life. I'm not, no terrorist attack, no shark attack, or nor more likely death like cancer, car accident, the ordinary stuff. And I get a long life. If I do, and I look back at this decade and a half, it'll seem relatively small. If I live till 80, a decade and a half is sort of not a big deal. And it's already begun to feel like not a big deal. So again, this is event A, began the rift between me, my siblings, my nieces, nephews, sisters, of course. I believe it was really at their hands. Accelerator with the death recovery period from the death of my son. A peak, high water mark with a secret reunion. It's been coming together nicely ever since then. Resumed normal relationships, mostly with my brother and select other as my nephew. And then this recent phone call with my mother, I think, is significant. So anyways, this is an occasion that begins to read like a man who hasn't gotten over a divorce a decade and a half ago. And though I won't deny that, I will say the alternative truth is that it just feels good to be on the other side of this. And with a tech support phone call, that's circumstantial choice I made with a tech support person over in New York for a company called Yext. He ended up calling me patient. And it's remarkable how many times I've been called patient. And if this decade and a half is what I think it is, and it ends up being history, it'll feel like patience has been the best card to play. This has been Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.